finally happening. We finally have a good open source alternative to Discord. This is something that I think people have been waiting for years on now, and it's finally happening thanks to a new app called Fluxer. So right now, Discord is fumbling thanks to age verification. They're in a lot of hot water for a few reasons. So they're trying to roll out new age rules where by default your account is going to be marked as a teen appropriate experience and locked down. And you're going to need proof of being over 18 in order to get the full experience. So you will be blocked from age-restricted servers, which, to be honest, I think that part's fair. But you're also unable to speak in live stream stage channels and also unable to respond to DMs from certain users, as you can see here. Now, why are people so concerned about this? Well, it's because of the privacy implications of doing ID verification. So the ID verification system that Discord used a while ago has actually had a data leak, and I believe over 70,000 IDs got stolen in that leak. And so people are very concerned with uploading their ID to some service for age verification and then things getting leaked out. And having someone's ID is very powerful. You can do a lot with that. Now, according to ZDNet here, they actually say that Discord is now using a new third-party vendor that is supposed to be much more secure. And you'll be able to upload a video selfie first, and if it can't verify you from that, then that's when you would use an official government ID. They claim that this new vendor is going to be deleting IDs quickly, but to be honest, I just don't want any random company having my government issued ID. And they're using an age inference model too to try and determine your age based on things like what servers you're in. So if you're talking a lot in, like, I don't know, the Fortnite server or something like that, whatever kids are into these days, then you might get flagged as being younger. Whereas for me personally, I hardly use Discord now. The only things I use Discord for are talking in very Linux focused communities. And they're saying that the vast majority of people won't ever see the age verification, but this is still a major concern for people. Now, Discord, after getting backlash, did end up delaying age verification. They were going to be using a third-party vendor called Persona for age verification, which apparently has worked with Reddit and Roblox, but they've been accused of surveillance of user data, which Persona has denied, by the way, apparently. And so this is now the second vendor that they have chosen not to use after their first one that had IDs leaked, which was 5CA. So they're delaying it to use a more secure platform. But why would I take the identity theft risk to use Discord? Like, what is this, a banking app? Now, the biggest problem is just the current alternatives do not cut it. Yes, you have Element/Matrix here, but to be honest, this isn't really a full Discord alternative. This is more like a super modernized version of IRC, is kind of how I see it. There's even IRC bridging on a lot of the Matrix servers. And you're not going to have the easy, seamless, just hopping in a voice chat. This is great for things like software communities, but this is not what you're going to be wanting to use if you're just trying to hop in a game of Counter-Strike with your friends. Now, there used to be Guilded, which was also a pretty popular alternative to Discord, but Roblox ended up buying them in 2021, and they shut down Guilded in December of 2025, so a couple months ago. So this is no longer an option. Now, you also have StoChat. This used to be called Revil, and I've seen a few people talk about it, but I did a little playing around with it, and it's just very bare bones. I do really like the design, but I made a little test server, and there's just barely anything you can do with a server. You have just very bare bones permission management. It does seem to be having some users, like the main server does have a good 100,000 people, and a few other servers are in the thousands right here. This is an option that exists, but I just can't really attest to how complete of an alternative this is, and I feel like if it was a complete alternative, quite a few more people would be using it. Enter Fluxer. Now, this is the most complete Discord alternative I have ever seen. It has pretty much everything I could want out of a Discord alternative, and she's free and open source, baby. Now, this seemingly came out of nowhere. Now, this is made by a Swedish software developer, and he's been working on this off and on for the past 5 years. And he says he believes it's one of the closest public attempts at feature parity with platforms like Discord and Slack. And from my usage of it, I would agree with that statement. So he's been using Discord since 2017 and was a Discord tester. And he started experimenting with a prototype of kind of building his own version of Discord. He also submitted a bug to Discord's security team and got a $1,500 bug bounty. And then he really started working on Fluxer in about July 2023. So just development wise, this has been being developed for a while. This isn't some sort of new project that somebody scrapped together in a few days, maybe vibe coded. This is a complete alternative that has been in the works. And I highly recommend reading this article. It goes through a bunch of the design decisions and how he was able to build it. Pretty interesting article. Another thing is I don't expect this to go away anytime soon because it actually has a good funding model behind it. And this is something open source projects tend to struggle with, especially projects like this that require a lot of hosting bandwidth and data storage and things like that. Now, they got quite a bit of funding after the Discord age verification announcement, as they had a version of Plutonium for a lifetime purchase of $300, which they don't have anymore. But that version did sell around 1,000 copies, which is a good 300K of funding for this project. And then they have their own Plutonium tier. Now, this is only if you're using the official instance and not a self-hosted instance, but this gives you quite the amount of benefits here. You get 500 megabyte file size uploads, you get video backgrounds, you can join more communities, you get a higher message limit. So this is a pretty compelling alternative to something like Discord Nitro. So I love open source projects finding a way to fund their business model here. There's quite a few other features coming soon, and I love all the Back to the Future references. And another thing I want to point out is this app works on mobile through a web app. Now, they are working on an official phone app, but I really liked that they got the web app version working so well on mobile, because that gives us potential to even work on things like Linux phones, like Ubuntu Touch or the Pine phone. Anyways, enough talking about it. Let's do a quick demo right here. So you can download the public beta on Windows, macOS, and Linux. And I'm a Linux user, and if you are too, they already have app images, deb files, RPMs, and just tar files. Now, I already have it installed, so let's go ahead and open it up. And Fluxer is down. So this is the second time I've seen downtime on Fluxer as I've been playing with it for the last few days, but I will cut it some slack because it is a brand new project and it's just one guy, and he launched it at maybe the best and the worst time. The best time because he's getting so many users from Discord's ID verification, but also the worst time because now he's going to be flooded with users that he has to scale all at once. So I feel for the guy. I didn't plan on this being down, so I guess future me is going to record the demo when it's back up. Okay, so it's been a few days. It has been back up for a few days too, but I just didn't have time to record this segment of the video until now. But I was using it for about a week, just experimenting with it, although I haven't used it since the servers originally went down. So I was in the Fluxer HQ Discord, but it looks like that's down, so they're still having some server outages. And when I reopened it, it actually gave me a free trial of Plutonium. So I will say I may be covering features that may be in Plutonium. I'd never accepted this trial, it just appeared, but okay. Now, when I first opened Fluxer, it gave me this message basically saying they grew 12K users in just 2 weeks and that they weren't ready for scaling, which understandable. It originally was just one guy. I guess now it's a two-person operation, but same difference, nearly the same difference. So they upgraded their infrastructure. They got tons of new voice servers. There's now anti-spam and raid protection. And yeah, they gave everyone a free week of Plutonium. They're still working on self-hosting documentation, so I bet when that comes out, you could see a Tech Cut video on it. And they're hiring. So let's just get to the app. I made a little test server here, which I'll get to later. There isn't anyone in it, but I just wanted to see the server settings. But looking through it, it looks a lot like Discord. Now I have regular Discord here, and I have Fluxer here. So Fluxer is a little bit darker. Now, if we go into settings here, we have pretty much all of the Discord features you would want. Actually, if we go to theme, they have a black theme if you want something darker and a light theme too, as well as system-wide theming sync, which is nice. My laptop personally has glare issues in dark mode, so I switch between light and dark mode all the time because if there's a glare, I need to go in the light mode. And if we go here, there's actually a very easy API here to completely change the theme and customize it however you want color-wise, and even overwrite CSS. So on Discord, you would actually need a third-party client to do this, which is technically against Discord's terms of service. And most of the settings are just copied from Discord. This has a lot more settings and just is a way more complete alternative than any of the other Discord alternatives I've seen. Now here, like I said, I made a test server, and if we go to community settings, there's already custom emojis, already custom stickers, already member verification, NSFW settings, an activity log, webhook support, and even server discovery features, as well as full permission management and everything. So I haven't seen much that they are missing here compared to Discord. Like, this is a very complete alternative, provided they fix their servers and keep everything running. Now, one thing I would be careful of if I was them is this color scheme that they're using might be a little bit too similar to Discord. I am hoping that this is not a trade dress violation because I don't want to see a cool open source project like this get sued by Discord. Yes, I just learned what trade dress is in my business law class. Sue me. So honestly, if I was them, like, I probably would change the color scheme just to be safe. To me, there isn't a reason to be using such a similar color to Discord other than right now branding it as a Discord alternative. But also eventually as an app, you're going to want to build your own branding anyway. You don't want your branding to just be that you're an open source clone of Discord, in my opinion, if they are serious about turning this into a full company, which it seems like they are, unless Discord just keeps fucking up and they just keep stealing Discord users. Now, I'm curious about the voice chat quality, so I'm going to go make another account on my phone and join a VC. Okay, this is what it sounds like when I'm on my phone mic and listening on my computer. You get the nice, crisp iPhone audio. Hello, even further in the future me here. I'm editing this video right now, and I was going to put a clip of me playing iPhone audio to show that the desktop mic goes through very clearly to show the mic quality is good, but iPhone screen recording apparently didn't pick up any of the audio. When using a good mic, the audio quality you'll get from Fluxer is very good. Anyways, back to future me, but past future me, if that makes sense. Now, let's see if screen sharing works. I'm on Wayland right now, and they did say screen sharing doesn't work yet, but we're going to try it anyway. So it does not support system audio yet on Linux. However, I must start screen sharing my computer, and it didn't work, I don't think. It's not showing up on my phone. Okay, so screen sharing doesn't work just yet, but just about everything else I've tried with this app, other than the server issues, has worked completely fine. So I have been pretty happy with Fluxer so far as a open source alternative to Discord. This is the first Discord alternative, actually, regardless if it's open source or proprietary, that actually feels complete, minus the server issues and screen sharing. Anyways, let's go back to past me. And thank you, future me. So the last thing I wanted to cover real quick is just their future roadmap on what they're going to work on next. So they have a little article right here on that. And the first thing that they're going to work on is a native mobile app. Now, like I said, they already do have a working PWA version of the mobile app, including offline push notifications. But just if you've ever tried to use a web app on a phone, you know that might not always be the best experience. So they're going to be making a native mobile version soon. And then they're also working on threads and forums. Now, this is a feature I actually really like on Discord, is their sort of forums feature. And I've been kind of using it as a bug tracker for Still HQ until we have real forums. So on Discord, I can make a thread, and then other people can reply to it and you can send messages. So I've been using this as the way to report bugs on the preview, as it's just super convenient. You don't have to make a whole account for a bug tracker or sign in with your GitHub. You can just log in with your Discord and just make a quick bug report here. So I'd be very happy to see that on Fluxer. And they're also working on federation here. So this basically allows Fluxer instances to talk to each other, which to me sounds like a pretty convenient feature. So you aren't limited to only servers on your instance. They want to make it so you can publish forms to the open web, which I think is a very good idea. That way a chat conversation with some sort of solution can actually be put on Google search for people to find. They want to add a community discovery feature, which I thought they already added when I was testing Fluxer, but maybe they haven't, since I guess that's on their roadmap. They also want to add slash commands, emojis and sticker packs, and opt-in encrypted chats that are secret, as well as creator monetization, which would be really cool, and far more. So this could actually become an even better platform than Discord actually. But for the final question of this video, will I be switching? Now, we're going to be assuming that they aren't having any more server issues. To me, this seems like a launch problem and just not being able to scale quick enough. However, there's one very important detail that will be determining if I will be switching, and that is, are people actually going to be using Fluxer? One thing I'm going to get a lot of hate from the Arch users is I use Instagram. Am I using Instagram because I want to be giving the Zucker, aka the lizard from Geico, all my data? No. I'm using it because all my friends from high school and my college friends are all on Instagram, and I can see what they've been up to from their posts. And there's a community where people send each other different Instagram reels and things like that. And if I tried to convince them all to switch to Pixel Fed, for example, they would tell me no, and they would call me a nerd. The reason I'm pointing this out is because for Fluxer to be a compelling option to me, all my friends would have to be switching from Discord over to Fluxer. And when I just want to hop in a game of Counter-Strike competitive with my friends, Discord is just the easiest option, and that's what we use. Now, I could see some FOSS circles starting to switch over to Fluxer because there's a lot of FOSS communities that already have Matrix and Discord bridged. And so maybe they could set up Fluxer and bridge it with their Discord. But the thing is, Discord has a network effect. It's what people are already using. And Discord would be useless if none of your friends use Discord. And so me switching to Fluxer is honestly entirely dependent on if it becomes something that people actually use and if it's worth it for me to actually go on there. And that is the biggest problem of starting a social media business or a chat app business. That said, Fluxer seems really cool. I really hope it takes off, especially if they get some of those web publishing features for forums. I could have the best of both worlds between the Discord threads feature and people being able to Google things. That said, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy my video on the best browser I've ever used for productivity, and I'll see you in the next one.